Welcome back, wrestling WWE fans. Tonight's story is one that has sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, a night that was supposed to be about competition but instead turned into chaos and heartbreak. Charlotte Flair, one of the most decorated superstars in the history of women's wrestling, was rushed to the hospital following a shocking and brutal backstage attack on Saturday night. The scene was devastating, leaving fans and wrestlers alike in stunned disbelief. Reports from the arena describe the atmosphere as surreal. One moment, laughter and preparation filled the locker room. The next, screams of panic echoed through the hallways as Charlotte was discovered on the ground, motionless and in visible pain. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. The betrayal here cuts deep. Wrestling thrives on rivalries, but what happened to Charlotte went beyond the spirit of competition. This was personal. This was an act designed not just to win, but to destroy. Eyewitnesses claim that the attack happened quickly, with Charlotte having no chance to defend herself. The cameras did not capture the full scene, but those who saw it firsthand insist it was one of the most disturbing sights they've ever witnessed backstage. Medical staff rushed in immediately. Fellow wrestlers gathered in shock, some with tears in their eyes, others shaking their heads in disbelief. For once, storylines and rivalries vanished, replaced with fear for a woman's health and safety. The grief spread quickly as fans online began to piece together what had happened. Hashtags trended, tributes poured in, and the WWE universe held its collective breath waiting for updates. Charlotte Flair is not just another performer. She is the daughter of Ric Flair, the Nature Boy himself. And for the Flair family, who has already endured years of loss and heartbreak, this was another devastating chapter in a story filled with both glory and tragedy. Backstage, the tension was unbearable. Wrestlers demanded answers, some openly furious that something so violent could take place in what should be a safe space. Trust began to crumble, as whispers of betrayal and hidden enemies spread through the locker room. Health crises are unfortunately not rare in this industry, but what makes this one stand out is the brutality behind it. Charlotte's collapse was not due to exhaustion or injury in the ring, it was because of someone's choice, someone's deliberate act of violence. Triple H, who has carried the weight of leadership in WWE, was reportedly among the first to react. His expression said everything: anger, sorrow, and fear for one of the brightest stars in his roster. The scandal quickly grew as fans demanded to know who was responsible. The company's silence only fueled speculation. Was this storyline, or was this real? The reality, insiders say, was far darker than any scripted segment. For Charlotte's family, the breakdown was immediate. Ric Flair, a man who has already buried his own son, now faced the terrifying thought of losing his daughter to an attack rooted in jealousy and hatred. The emotional toll was almost too much to bear. In the hours that followed, fans gathered outside the hospital, holding signs, chanting Charlotte's name, and praying for her recovery. The outpouring of love was proof of how deeply she has connected with audiences worldwide. But behind the love was anger. Anger at the system that allowed this to happen. Anger at the silence from officials. And anger at the unseen hand that carried out this shocking act of betrayal. The grief was not confined to WWE. Wrestlers from AEW, Impact, and across the globe sent messages of support. Charlotte's influence on women's wrestling has been undeniable, and her suffering was felt everywhere. Backstage, friendships were tested. Some wrestlers pointed fingers, others pleaded for unity. But the reality was clear: trust inside that locker room may never be the same again. The thought of death hovered uncomfortably close. Though Charlotte survived the attack, the severity of her condition left many fearing the worst. For fans who had already mourned so many wrestling legends, the idea of losing Charlotte was almost unbearable. As updates slowly trickled out, it became clear that her fight was far from over. Hospitalized, in pain, but alive. For a family that has known both triumph and tragedy, survival itself was a victory. For WWE management, this incident left scars. How do you explain to fans that one of your top stars was brutalized in a supposedly secure environment? How do you rebuild faith in the safety of your performers after such a scandal? And yet, in the darkest hours, there was also light. Charlotte's resilience, her history of fighting back from injury, and her unbreakable will gave fans hope. If anyone could survive this and rise again, it was her. The question that remains is simple but haunting: who was behind this attack, and why? Until those answers are given, the betrayal will hang over WWE like a storm cloud, threatening to tear apart everything from within. Charlotte's story is no longer just about championships and legacy. It is about survival, betrayal, and the fight to reclaim not just her career, but her life. And so we close with this. In wrestling, betrayal, scandal, and grief are often tools of storytelling. But tonight, we are reminded that behind the spectacle are human beings, fragile and vulnerable. Charlotte Flair's fight is no longer just in the ring. It is in the hospital, in her family's prayers, and in the hearts of millions of fans who stand with her. Because beyond the titles and the spotlight, only love, loyalty, and legacy remain.